What's up, everybody? Welcome to this happy hour episode of True Crime and Cocktails, a Patreon exclusive. We're so glad that you're here. As always, I am your host, Lauren Ash, and as always, I am joined by my co-hostess with the mostess, Christy Oxborrow. How you feeling?
Doing great.
Did you see I gave you a little bit of a shoulder shimmy?
I did I always appreciate when shoulders get involved.
Listen, we just finished the March brunch.
We did.
I've had a little bit to drink, but we're very excited about this happy hour because it's a very special happy hour episode of the show.
Yeah.
We, for context, if you don't know already, and if you don't, I don't think there's probably any of you who are listening to this that don't know already, but Christy and her family came here recently for a week. And we thought it would be nice to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes taste. Now, again, this is not stuff that we're posting on our socials. We've, for a multitude of reasons, we like to keep certain things a little bit more private, but we thought it would be nice here on Patreon, where we employ our circle of trust, to give you guys a little, you guys and people, a little taste of what exactly went on during that week.
I mean, why not? I love that I'm self-aware enough to know it's not needed, but I'm going to preface it with, this is not the sort of trip we take every year.
Of course.
We made the decision. I think I started the ball rolling and my husband just went, yeah, that makes sense. But I was just like, oh my God, our oldest child is graduating in a few months. He's going on to university, so he'll be moving out in the fall. Can't talk about it. Can't think about it. Yep. I have to think about it because I actually have to start organizing stuff now, but that's not the point. Point is, we were like, you know what? we've gone camping together before. We have driven to Alberta to see some family before, but all five of us have never done like a big, like classic vacation. And so we thought, you know what? The kids have never been on a plane before. Let's take them to California. And we went all out on things that in a normal trip I never would have done. To just do Disney is one thing, but we went over the top. So we crammed in a lot, but at the end of the day, the core memories.
Look, once in a lifetime was a term that was thrown around a lot.
It was. You're right.
And yeah, we were just trying to make as much joy and all of the above happen that we possibly could. You'll notice that young Christy over there is in her Buzz Lightyear Mickey ears. I am in my
Buzz Lightyears.
Lightyears. I'm in my new, these are like a pleather yellow ear. These I did purchase while we were in the parks because the ears I was wearing, the headband was kind of cutting into my head. And also yellow is my spirit color. So I thought these were nice. Well, listen, let's start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
When you read, you begin with ABC.
Oh, if you think I don't know Sound of Music, I mean, come on.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. She's a treasure. She's a treasure. Protector. Julie Andrews is who I'm talking about. But so you flew in, I believe, on a Friday, was it not?
I did. And dear people, we're gonna give you the rundown day by day. And then there might be a little something at the end of this episode. A little fun visual recap, as it were. So I will say, this might be more of a view than a listen.
This might be best viewed on YouTube as opposed to listen to on the app. Listen, you can still listen for a certain portion of this, but it will become clear where there's a portion that you're going to want to look at.
Of course.
Love it.
I love that I made notes for myself because I'm like, I'm going to forget. Because again, crammed a lot of things in.
Can you just look at Sharky right now real quick? Like
beautiful. He's kind of Blair Witching at the moment.
He's Blair Witching. You know what I thought was, I was like, it's like in Fleabag where it's like, take your knees or whatever he says. Like, it's like, it feels like he's praying to me in a way that it's like, I don't require that of you, bud. I want to move, but he's moving with me. So
it's just the love there,
He really loves me.
He does.
He and Bean,
which is beautiful.
Really love me. Fox, different story. But
Fox loves you, but refuses to show it.
He does. He does.
I
He
mean,
does it. And the sicker he gets, the sadder it is. Anyway, everything's fine and we're all surviving. Friday, you flew in. Let's talk about the flight.
Yeah. First of all, alarm set for 3 a.m.
Wowzer.
Wasn't anticipating. Well, I mean, I knew I always have to get up super early to fly there because it's always connecting flight. But we were like, you know what? We'll be there before noon. It'll be worth it. Yeah. The kids bounced. Couldn't have been more excited. All of them wanted to get on a goddamn plane. They were really, really jazzed about it. Did the airport
and
first flight?
None of them,
no problem.
None of them had been on a plane before, correct?
None of them, no. And like champs, I was very, very worried about my youngest because he's so anxious. Nothing. I spent the whole time being like, you're perfectly safe. Everything's fine. Even little bumps, you're going to be safe. It ended up that by the final flight, I was like, oh God, he's fine. And I had children offering to like hold my hand because I was not fine. Because I started showing a little more that I wasn't fine, but I tried to hold on to that. But joke's on me, he did well. All three of them did well. My middle one took so many photos from the window and then would like just lightly tap you on the knee to like show the photo you took. And it's like, oh yeah, of what I can visually see from my seat. Cool. Like, cause you got to show enthusiasm, right? And then we got on that second flight. And we taxied out and we were waiting to get on the runway. And then we're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And then we're just sitting there and all of a sudden they're like, oof, there's a light on. They have concerns. And I'm like, if there is any concern about the safety of this flight, I will not complain. I will sit here as long as you want. It's fine. Keep me on the ground if you have concerns about it. Long story short, we sat on the plane for over an hour and then they asked us all to get off the plane. Well, they got a new one from wherever the hangar or wherever they keep them. So we finally did arrive, but it was about 3 hours late. We arrived a little later than anticipated, but we got there safely. And,
yes.
That's all that matters. And like, first thing I think we have to talk about us being in California is we have to mention the captain.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah. Captain and the first mate.
Look, I decided early on, I was like, look, I can't drive our entire party around in my vehicle because
it's a lot.
The Oxborrows come with 5 and plus me makes 6 and my vehicle only seats 5. And so I was like, you know what? And plus all the luggage that was going to be getting brought, etc. So I was like, you know what? I've got to rent like a Chevy Suburban or like a Yukon or whatever. And then I made a comment about like, oof, vehicle like that. Love driving them, but they're like a boat. And so then I was like, I think for the duration of the trip, I would like to be referred to as the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did I absolutely get a captain's hat, captain's shirt? Yes, I did. I also got a first mate hat. And my vision was that I was like, I'll keep changing up who the first mate gets to be, depending on the day, etc. But one of your youngest had to be in a cart, a booster seat in the car. Sure. So then I also felt a little bit bad because I was like, well, the booster can't go in the front seat, I feel like. So it feels like maybe that's not fair. So I feel like and then I also just like, with your oldest, I was like, I don't want to seem like uncool. So I was like, well, I'm not going to push the like first mate hat on him. Long story short, I abandoned it partway through the trip because I'll be honest, I felt embarrassed. I felt shame. Feel shame.
I was honored to be the first mate.
But you were the first mate and your middle was the second first mate. And he really embraced it.
He did.
And that for me at that point, I was like, it's done all it needs to do. You know what I mean?
He got like a front row seat to taking more photos.
And he was passionate about the photography. Bless.
He was. It was really beautiful. The things that came out of this trip, like I learned my oldest passionate about shopping.
I learned it too. My credit card learned it too.
He loves his fits. Loves it all. Middle one, passionate about photography. Something we didn't know. My youngest, if you asked him now what were his favorite things about the trip, he's going to say number one, the hockey rink, meaning one that a little plastic container that I had made to bring on the plane as a distraction, something to keep him busy, something to distract him from the anxiety of being on a flight for the first time, which, jokes on me, wasn't necessary. But I had purchased some Playmobil hockey figures, and it was just this case he opened up that I put tape on and whatever. Fucking loved it. He says it's his favorite thing. He played with it wherever we went, and it was like, okay, didn't expect that to be a favorite part of the trip. Honored, but also like, could have skipped so much of the things we did if I knew that $10 investment was going to be his favorite part. His second favorite part was a blanket he got from the airline. They gave us a blanket later on our trip home, and since then it sleeps in bed with him.
Sure.
He loves it. Those are his favorite memories from the trip, which, I mean, he has also requested that I buy him some sort of airplane toy, but he would like that it comes with the little truck that will move the plane. Not just the plane. Can't just have the plane. He also needs that little extra truck, which
sure.
It is what it is. So yeah, learned a lot about my kids. So it was interesting. Also couldn't have been happier the first night. It was, get in the car, we're going to Target.
Yep.
And we asked if anybody wanted to come. Most were like, no, we are done traveling for the day. It's been a long day. We want to stay. My oldest was like, hell yeah. Because again, loves a shop.
He does.
So he got a real behind the scenes peek of what it looks like to go to Target with us and watch us just run around like maniacs and go to the toy department and pick up a box of something and dump it into the cart. And he's like, what are you? Okay. And there were a lot of moments where I was like, Dad doesn't need to know.
Oh, yeah. There was also a lot for me where I was like, what do you see on this wall that you like? And he would pick up something and I would just like grab it from him and throw it into my cart. Yeah. Look, for me, am I going to have children? Probably not. Do I need to ensure that at least one of your children is going to care for me when I'm elderly and dementia? The answer is yes. And look, I'm not saying that's the only reason I wanted to make his dreams come true. It's not. But is it a factor? Sure. Sure.
Look, I'm going to guarantee my children are going to take care of you.
Thank you.
So that is
again,
not a problem.
I'm trying to invest now. I'm investing early. I'm an early investor.
Of course.
Yeah. So I pick you up at the airport on Friday. We go to TGI Fridays, which felt right because it was a Friday. And one of the things I want to give a shout out is that they have a menu item called the Bag of Bones.
Yeah, they do.
And it's barbecue. So it's like chicken wings. There's like a bunch of choices, but like chicken wings, ribs, like that kind of thing. But I just love the term Bag of Bones. We got back. We went to Target. And then it was like, get to sleep, you ninnies.
Yeah.
Ninnies. Get to sleep, you ninnies, because there's something big tomorrow. And Saturday morning. Yeah. Now, listen, I have made a relationship with the people at Funko over the years. And I said, hey, I have family coming to town. I'm my podcast co-host / cousin, and we're big Funko people. I'm wondering if I could bring everyone into the Funko Hollywood store for a visit. And they said, we can open early for you, so there won't be anyone else in the store. And that, I was like, this is it. This is it. So we got up very early. We went down to the Funko store in Hollywood. We went in, and first of all, what a delight.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to have full reign of that store, which is unbelievable. And if you've never been and you live here, or if you're planning a trip to LA, and I'm not being paid to say this, it's such a wonderful stop. Because it's free for you to walk around the store. You don't obviously have no obligation to buy anything, but there's so many giant photo ops and giant Funko statues. It really is, I think, amazing and worth a trip. Don't you think?
God, yes. and the variety of areas. Like everything was kind of like in its own kind of section. So if you had a specific section and you could see it, you could head over there. But like full thing on Harry Potter.
Yep.
Massive Disney. There was Star Wars, superheroes. There was a sports section. There was a retro section that had like Flintstones and like old, well, God, what is it? Like Cap'n Crunch with Crunch Berries cereal. And like the photo ops were insane. There was Jurassic Park, which I saw and I gasped and I ran across that store. Ran on purpose. Like, which is a thing I don't do. There was Stranger Things. I gasped again. And I ran across the store again. It was just like us going, ah, and then we're gone. And it was like, but because the store was closed, didn't worry about what my children were doing. And then the baskets came out. And it was like, you want to start putting something in a basket? Because first I'm flitting around everywhere because I'm so overwhelmed and obsessed with everything. And then it was, well, now I need to start picking up pieces. And 8 baskets later, I mean, things had to get cut down.
It was many baskets, but it should also be noted, it was like, do you two want to make your own Funkos in your own likenesses? And we were like, yes, please. Now, listen, again, if you are any level of listener of this show, you'll know that we love the Funkos. Yes. And so did we absolutely make ourselves? We did. I could not be happier with how mine turned out. It's adorable. Yeah. I treasure it.
Oh, God, yes. I moved some of my Stranger Things Funkos, which currently kind of the newer series got precedence over some of the other ones in my living room. Everything else is in different spots in the basement. But I moved some of them to put the Funkos of me and my 3 children.
Right.
Which, adorable. It was beautiful to see how they see themselves.
Yeah, I love that. Mean?
Yes. It was really cute. And I loved it a lot. That store, I mean, what a dream.
Yeah.
What a dream. An embarrassing amount of purchases, some of which I was not able to bring home. But, oh man, what a dream. The entire Funko store was a complete dream.
Oh, yeah.
I would wander around there happily till the end of time.
It's the best. So then we went, some people took a nap, some people, did whatever. I took your oldest shopping. And then did we go to the Kings game that night?
Yes.
Yes.
Which, I mean, my children all love sports to a varying degree. My youngest loves any and all sports that he can get his hands on. My oldest, like a few main sports, but other than that, whatever. But it was more about the experience. And I was like, wow, we're there. We could do a Kings game. That could be fun. Couldn't be happier because fuck, I came alive.
You really did.
I had a moment sitting in that seat. I started to plan out a trip to Philadelphia so I can see my own team play live at home. That's where I'm at. Yeah. But if we're going to talk about that Kings game, we need to talk about when everybody started chanting.
Yeah.
Which is quite possibly my favorite thing that happened that night.
So here's what's up, dear listeners. It was International Women's Day.
It was.
And so there was a bunch of different things they were doing to kind of like commemorate that it was International Women's Day.
Yeah.
And early on in the game, I heard a chant.
Yeah.
That was happening in the arena. And I thought to myself, that's nice for Women's Day. I feel like that's good messaging. And it kept going throughout. And the chant that I believed I was hearing was, no means no. No means no. And I was like, it does mean no. And thank you for putting this out there, everyone. And then I started to realize partway through the game, late in the game, No. They're saying, "Go Kings, go!
Yeah.
Go Kings, go!" And I told Christy in the moment I realized it again, late in the game, what I had thought, and God, did she laugh! It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought it was for Women's International Women's Day,
which absolutely made sense. And once you heard it, you couldn't unhear it.
It was hard. Again, I know they're very different words, but like, if you thought one, or it's like the gold dress, or is it a blue dress? Like, it was like, once you heard one thing, it was like, I can't unhear it the other way.
Yeah. But my God, I mean, that was the beginning of many of the laughs that we had, because you and I cackled throughout that entire game.
We did.
I took random videos throughout the game. I took one of the team coming out because I thought that was really fun. And then that video turns creep fast.
Yeah.
Because that was the moment I remembered how much I have always loved a goalie. I love watching the goalies warm up. I love watching them stretch. I love watching them mess up the crease when they just swish their little feet back and forth to get it all messy. Swish. Yeah. Oh, I was into it. It got bad for me. The whole thing just reminded me of when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I would attend a lot of hockey games, and back then I treated a hockey roster like a menu. And now, wowza. It brought a lot of stuff back for me, is my point. I couldn't have been happier. It reignited my love of hockey. I love seeing it live. It was just what a beautiful thing. And even though they weren't going with the messaging we had hoped, I left there. I was a very large Kings fan when I left. I mean, still, Flyers are my number one, of course. But now I own a Kings scarf, because it was a tad chilly in there, along with a Kings blanket, because that building was colder than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
But what a great time. What a great time. The kids got to see their first NHL game live. Like,
amazing. Yeah. So that's Saturday. Sunday, we go to a Lakers game.
Yes.
Which was incredible.
Different vibe.
Again, we were up further in the stands, because again, those tickets they ain't cheap.
They're not. No.
And then directly from the Lakers game, we drove to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And that's when something else happened.
Now, dear listeners, when you're traveling with 5 people,
5,
and you know
6 with me,
and you know that you're probably going to buy some things while you're away, so you want to make sure you have a little extra room in your suitcase for such a thing. You bring a lot of bags. And so at one point we were like, well, we're going to leave. We don't want to take all of these bags to Disney, because it's so many. So we're just gonna, so I went through all of our suitcases and picked a different suitcase that had clothes for me, my husband, and our 2 youngest. Our oldest son had his own suitcase, and we were going to bring those 2 to Disney. I had outfits planned. I was going to do a full Buzz Lightyear Toy Story day, and then I was going to do a full Stitch. I think just a Stitch kind of Mickey Mouse, or Stitch and Kanto, I think was going to be my whole outfit for the other day. So I was ready to go. The kids, I bought them shirts. I bought Mickey Mouse and all of that. So I was ready to go. So we had to make sure those were the suitcases that came with us. The rest of the stuff could stay at Lauren's house while we were gone. Well, we got to the hotel. We're all hanging out. We got hours. We're like, we got a couple hours. Then we're gonna go grab some food soon, and then we're just gonna hang out. And so I'm like, you know what? I got time. I'll go in the suitcase. I'll get the kids' pajamas. I'll set them out on their bed, so that when we get back, they'll probably be tired. We have to get up super early. I'm gonna get them to get in those pajamas once we get back. And if I could have recorded that moment, I would have. But I opened that suitcase. And if it were a comic book little smell lines would have come out of that suitcase, because it turns out that what we had brought was not the clothes for Disney, but a bag of nothing but dirty laundry.
Unfortunately, the suitcases somehow got switched.
Yes.
And rather than a bag of clothing, it was fresh clothing. It was all dirty laundry, which just feels like a cruel joke.
Yeah, it was basically everything that we had worn since we arrived in California.
Yeah.
And it was just not at all what we had planned to wear. I had these very comfortable capri pants that I had very painstakingly planned out for Disney because they're very comfortable and allow temperature wise to be great. So I was excited about it. And in that moment, I think my brain fractured because it was like, well, now what? We are far enough from your house. We're not going to drive all the way back and then come back. And it's like, what are we going to do? And then we discovered the hotel had like a laundry service. And so they're like, yeah, you fill the bag with all the clothes. You'll get it back tomorrow at 6 p.m. And we're like, well, then what do we do about tomorrow? We're going to just have to wear our current dirty clothes. This is not ideal, but I guess. And then I was like, well, if they can do our laundry, can we do our own laundry? We discovered they had a washer and dryer in some room that guests were allowed to use. So my husband went and took that bag of dirty laundry and went and washed clothes. The rest of us went and got food and just to look around and to let Mama calm down a bit.
Well, you also took him food too. It wasn't.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. I did go and order something for him, and then I had to hunt him down because it was in a weird location that was hard to find. But I did get it. I did get him food, so he did end up getting to eat. And he didn't have to miss Disneyland or anything. The only thing he missed out was browsing the shops in downtown Disney, which is not his jam anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while this was like not what you want to have happen, it turned into this like beautiful accident because I ended up with a pair of pants that are the most comfortable pants I've worn in my lifetime. And I ended up Disney bounding unexpectedly for the first time.
Now, Disney bounding, for people who don't know, it's not like cosplay where you put together like an intricate specific costume. Disney bounding is more just like the colors of a character. So, for example, you could put on like a red t-shirt and yellow pants and go as Winnie the Pooh. That is like a Disney bound situation. Yeah. So we look at Christy and she's got these purple pants and a lime green shirt. And I was like, you're Disney bounding as Buzz Lightyear, which you didn't even realize, which is absolutely perfect. She's showing the shirt now.
She is.
It was hysterical. It was perfect. It was everything it needed to be.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, thank God that we had so much stuff to bring to Disney that I had an extra bag that had my Buzz ears.
Yep.
My Disney backpacks, because I had a Beauty and the Beast one and the Encanto one. And then I also had a Buzz Lightyear one that I had bought. I had those and I had the hoodies.
Yep.
That I had planned out to wear. So thank God I already had those.
Yeah.
But, and the true joke is, bought my husband pants that like the big down the leg says Star Wars. He doesn't watch a Star War. But if you think he hasn't been wearing them constantly since we've been home, because again, most comfortable pants he owns. And then I bought him a shirt so he could have a clean shirt to wear. Been wearing that constantly. So, I mean, in the end, was it the worst thing to have happen? No, it was one of those like, well, that sucks. And then you just are trying to figure out how you're going to make it work. But look at that. What a beautiful thing. In the end, look on the bright side. And I mean, good God, we were at Disneyland.
Absolutely. And we were there Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning, we left.
Yeah.
Wednesday evening, we went to, you all went to the Clippers game.
Sure. Yeah.
I did not go because unfortunately Fox was very sick. I needed to be with him and sort out that whole situation. But it was a wonderful time in Disney, obviously. And then Thursday, We went to Universal.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo Land.
Yep.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And then Friday, you guys went back. So it was jam-packed. It was so much action, but it was also, it went quick.
It did. It really did. I mean, I had never been to Universal before.
Yeah.
Great fucking time. I was so jazzed. I got to do the whole Hogwarts area. It was beautiful. I guess I should say Hogsmeade as opposed to Hogwarts.
Thank you.
But I got a wand. I gasped dealing with wands. It was a whole thing. But Disney, I had been to before. I've been twice. I haven't been since 2017. So there were so many things that were new. There was no Star Wars area when I was there last.
Right.
But I was reminded of how much I love it and how I was like, God, do I try and figure out a way that it's a birthday trip every year? Is that insane? Probably.
No.
But I think I'd like to. I don't know if it's because I fully gushed over meeting Gaston or what, but oh, Gaston, good God. I mean, look, the whole thing, top to bottom, were there hiccups? Yes. The flight home, again, we have connecting flight. We flew into Vancouver and discovered our flight home had been canceled because there was an incoming blizzard in Saskatchewan. So we had to do a hotel for the night. They were supposed to give us what they call overnight kits. The airline has these. They're supposed to be a t-shirt and like a toothbrush and toothpaste and something else in them. And we were like, okay, well, we were all around that airport trying to find these kits. And in the end, we finally find an area and they're like, yeah, here you go. How many do you need? And I'm like, yes, we need 5. And they give us these things and we have to lug them around and we get to the hotel and we open them and they're not at all the overnight kits. You unzip it. Inside, it's a little thin blanket and then like earbuds and a sleep mask. So it's just for like on the plane. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, does anybody want any of these? And everyone was like, no, but my youngest was like, absolutely, he would like to sleep with that blanket tonight. And I said, well, I'll bring this on the plane tomorrow because the plane can be quite cold. So he used it on the plane and has used it in his bed since. We have washed it, of course, but it's one of his favorite things in the world. And it's the most thin blanket, but he loves it because it has a tiny tag that has the airline on it. But
look, he likes what he likes and he knows what he knows.
He does. But good God, what a top to bottom. I think we did great.
Absolutely.
We
and
crammed
listen,
in a lot. We had so many fucking laughs.
Yes.
We got to open small things together in each other's presence.
We did.
We got to discuss a plan for Disneyland, which was our preferred because, of course, I did bring the dossier for Disney VIP Eyes Only.
It's a beautiful
thing.
thing.
That for us to go over. And what a great time.
Amazing time.
Yeah.
And listen, I know what you're thinking, dear listeners. Feels like you glossed over a lot. Well, stay tuned. Hold on to your seats. Get onto YouTube if you're listening to this, because now's when you're going to want to watch, because Christy's put together a little presentation.
I was just going to leave it at that.
Enjoy.
That shirt is worth the reveal.
Right? It's like a tuxedo. I just want the carpet. Not that you aren't doing a great job.
No, I see the sides. I know. It's okay.
I see the sides.
Hello out there, we're on the air. It's hockey night tonight. Tension grows, the whistle blows, and the puck goes down the ice.
The starting lineup for your games. On defense, number 84, Vladislav Gavrikov. On defense, number 3, Matt Roy. And the play number 22, Evan Villa. The center, number 24, Billy Doe. On right wing, number 33, Victor Arvidsson. And starting in goal, number 70, Jonas Carpusalo. They are your LA Kings.
All around the world.
11-6-6, 12-10 lead from Washington State, Clay Thompson. The other guy is number 30, 6'3", 14th season from Davidson, Stephen Kelly. That's the number 5, 6'9", 8th season from UCLA, Kaban Looney. Forward wearing number 064, 5th campaign from Villanova, Dante DiVincenzo. The other forward is number 23, 6'6", 11th season from Michigan State, Draymond Green. Head coach, Steve Kerr.
This is like when they do the parachute in grade school. Come on, that's cool.
This is like David Copperfield, but in sport.
And now, celebrating their 63rd year in Southern California, 75th year in the NBA, the franchise with 17 NBA titles. The home team, your Los Angeles Lakers. At one guard number 5, 6'4", 7th year of Florida State, Malik Beasley. The other guard number 17, 6'3", 10th campaign from Germany, Dennis Ruder. Center number 3, 6'10", 11th campaign from Kentucky, Anthony Davis. And up forward number 2, 6'9", 5th year from Kentucky, Jared Vanderbilt. The other forward is number 7, 6'7", 5th campaign out of Oregon, Troy Brown Jr. The head coach, Darvin Ham.
Ain't nobody like a West Coast brother, 'cause the West Coast brother don't stop.
Lakers fan.
Laker girl. Foul number 17, Dennis Schroeder. Third personal. Stephen Curry, 1+1.
Christy has informed me that she is not built for speed.
Keep me under 50 like the bus from Speed.
It's a bit of a bumpy ride, folks.
Oh no! Oh, I took that corner. Smooth like butter. Oh!
There's a reason I have been driving this week.
I'm trying to give it gas, but this gas pedal is empty.
Oh, it's
no.
sticky.
And the steering is so sensitive.
It is not a power steering system, folks. Not a power steer.
We are coming to the end soon.
No, we're just getting started. There's at least another 10 minutes of this.
Oh goodness, it's thicker, so I'll bounce more. It sounds like a lawnmower.
It's essentially a lawnmower.
I
Whoa.
can't ride those.
Oh my god.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, see?
Look how smooth it got down.
Don't get
You
cocky.
gotta start with the.
She's gonna
Now I feel
be
it.
palming the steering wheel by the time we're done.
Pass this, am I gonna feel bad?
Oh look, the Matterhorn. Ready?
I'm so excited to put my hands up.
Let's get free. I almost lost the ears. This is for children.
This is not for children. Oh, he's shaking his butt.
When in Hogs, where are we?
Hogsmeade.
When in Hogsmeade, you drink a butterbeer. Let's see. Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
it's nice.
It's like a cream soda.
Oh, it is like a cream soda. Cheers.
Am I confusing cream soda with ice cream?
Nope. Everything's going great. Thanks so much. Can you just explain what's happening?
I am currently trying to pack for the flights home.
Sure.
We made a couple of purchases.
I mean, the amount of Funko bags alone is
For example,
alarming.
how do I fit 3 lightsabers into my bags? I don't know.
Beige little boxes in a row. Neighbors and friends that you don't know. Here's a 5-go wait in line. Can't you see I'm doing fine? It's what I've always wanted. 2 little kids out on the lawn. Once we had love, now it's gone. Good things haven't happened yet. I'm empty as a movie set. It's what I've always wanted. Hey, here's to you, California. Beautiful haze of suburbia. Living in the perfect weather, spending time inside together. Hey, here's to you, California. Wearing all black out on the beach. Faces I've seen in magazines. Let's take a walk out on the pier. Watch the shoreline disappear. It's what I've always wanted. Hey, here's to you, California. Beautiful haze of suburbia.